اوكي السلام عليكم.
عليكم السلام.
دكتور حسن شو اخبارك؟ شو صحتك؟
الحمد لله. كيفكم سعود؟ Nice
شو
seeing you.
أمورك؟ طيب.
الحمد لله الحمد لله.
Good to see you after so long.
Yeah, good to see you too, man.
So today's topic, interesting
Yes.
topic.
Very interesting. Yes.
I was actually reading a book about it.
Okay.
It's actually here in front of me. A book called Become Supernatural by Joe Dispenza.
Yeah, I know this guy very well.
Amazing, amazing way of putting it together. Like there's so much knowledge that we have. You put it all together in one place.
Absolutely.
You understand what is emotions and how does it affect your body.
Absolutely, absolutely. And a lot of people doesn't know about it, and it's an eye opener. So I wish everybody read that. It's just it's very eye opening for how much emotion can affect us, and we don't know about it. So
yes. Dr. Hassan, why don't you introduce yourself first before we start?
Where should I start? Well, so I just go briefly. I'm my full time is a professor. I'm associate professor in university. So I in a medical school. I teach medical student anatomy and neuroanatomy. My interest is neuroscience. So everything related to the brain and the psychology. I always see the brain as a black box. I like to always learn about brain. But during my journey in my study of my postgraduate study, everybody of us stumbled into some challenges in life. So I started following, so I do some personal development things, and I started to follow Tony Robbins. And then I started to attend his courses and seminar, and then I became one of his coaches. So I worked with him for 5 years as one of his coaches, and I coach over 300 clients, maybe about 5,000 hours. And I get to meet you in the CTI. So I did also CTI certification. Always, as a coach, you want to have more tools in order for you to give the client the best service. So I attended CTI. And recently, I also get immersed with the book that you told me about, which is Joe Dispenza. And he was talking about, how the energy and the emotions affect our body. So I attended a course in something called heart math. So these guys look at the heart and how much the heart is being affected by the emotions. And there is some technique we teach the client how to start to make their heart rhythm more in balance instead of a juggly heart, and that's really affect their emotion and have a better life, have better sleep, and so much other benefit. But this is a nutshell. So a coach, a professor, and also a mentor, and I also work as business client to help them grow businesses. So this is a nutshell. Sorry for the long introduction.
Wow, mashallah, mashallah. You mentioned something that grabbed my attention. You're teaching anatomy. So you're teaching medical students, right?
Yeah.
And from my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, in medical schools, they only believe in science.
Yes.
So they only look at symptoms and they work based on symptoms. Mm-hmm. How interesting it is for you to understand both aspects. You're understanding the purely scientific, and you're teaching that. Yeah. And then you have the coaching school, which is almost contradicting a lot of what you teach in the medical school.
It's interesting. Sometimes people have had a passion, and the passion really not related to their job. But it's interesting when sometimes I talk to people that are really 105% scientists. I have to be careful in what I need to speak with them, because sometimes they some people tell me you are a person talking about another planet, because sometimes I can be, that extreme and talk about, things that people doesn't believe in it. I personally believe that emotion can also have impact on what we attract to our life. If you believe in the law of attractions, and even our religion, God says يعني الحديث إنه أنا عند ظن عبدي, which is ما قال سوء ظن ولا حسن ظن. He said أنا عند ظن عبدي. Whatever you think God gonna give you, He's gonna give you. And it's interesting. I attended a course in India, and these guys in India doesn't believe anything in religion. They only, pure. It's like a meditation retreat. And one of the monk hold me aside. He said, "You're a Muslim, but I want to tell you one thing. I have a lot of Muslims clients come to us, but you have a basic things. If you just apply it to your life, you will understand it very well." He said that God, Allah have 99 names. Your God, which is Allah, but you guys always look at the names that God, Al-Jabbar, like God wanna punish us, God wanna do bad things to us. But there is Ar-Rahim, Al-Ra'uf, the good names. So however you see God, He's gonna treat you. And it's very interesting. It was a big shift for me. And that's how you see life. People always see life with a black mirror or black, life is bad, I'm a bad luck, everything happening for me. And this is exactly what's going to happen in their life. I know it's a big shift, but that's how I just, got into that. At the beginning, I was resistant to attend these things like Tony Robbins, I was in that, rigid mindset. But I have that, adventurous personality. When I went to Tony Robbins, the first day I was like closed, and I didn't accept anything, but I give it a chance. And then I have, like screws start to open up, and that's how my mentality start opening up. So that's the answer for your questions.
Tony Robbins is a big supporter of the idea of law of attraction.
Yes.
And I've seen him in a lot of his interviews. He emphasizes on that.
Yes.
How was that idea new to you when you started with Tony Robbins?
I saw the movie The Secret, a long time ago. But when somebody showed to you an application, and then he start to show to you that if you change your emotion, your life will change. There's a verse in Quran, and Allah لا يغير ما بقوم حتى يغيروا ما بأنفسهم. Yes. So changing your internal world have an impact on changing your external world. And sometimes people want to change the external before changing the internal, which doesn't work. Which is I know it's hard to accept, but that's the reality. That's the rule of life.
It always starts from within.
Yes.
Right? I feel if you want to change the world, you have to change yourself first.
Absolutely.
And in a story that I read, a person who was who reached the age of death, having cancer, having completely paralyzed, just a shift in a paradigm, a shift in the way of thinking changed that person's life forever.
Absolutely. I'll give you an example, which is, sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah.
I have a client from Kuwait, and he's a like a business owner, and he have debit. Yeah, people borrowed money from him, and it's been years, and every transaction he went to, it's just it doesn't complete or have something happen with it. But I watch his language while I'm coaching him. And now, when we coach people, we watch what they say. Sometimes they don't know what they say.
Yeah.
But he have that word said, "I'm not lucky. Everything I go to screwed up. Everything turns bad. Nothing goes into completion." So I told him, watch what you're saying and just try for a month. Stop saying these negative words and just challenge yourself and see what happens. I swear to God, after 4 weeks, people that he own him money start calling him and tell him, "Hey, take your money back." Wow. And he called me, he said, "I don't believe that people are calling me to take the money back," which is interesting. Just a simple thing, changing the thoughts, People started coming to him instead of he chasing people. This is an example from my life, from coaching clients. So
it may look simple, but it's not that easy to implement.
Absolutely.
Right? I believe because of the repetitive thoughts or the way we have been programmed, it's very difficult to change the way we are thinking. It might, sometimes I have clients having breakthrough. So they have a breakthrough at a session, and then a few days later, if they didn't follow up, if they didn't do anything extra, completely forgot.
Absolutely.
So I believe it's also important. Yes, I had something, I knew something about myself, but unless I start implementing it, I won't be able to get that good results. I might get little results, but not the desirable results.
Well, this is what we call conditioning and coaching. You can't go to the gym one time and feel fit, right?
Yes.
You can't grow a muscle from one biceps curl. It's about repetition. And sometimes when I do anchoring, I'm sure anchoring, anchor a certain emotion to a client. They said, okay, is that it? I said, no, you have to keep doing it. In order for you to have to, this is like a new muscle that you added to your body, an anchor, you have to use it. So people think that's why I don't promise clients a quick fix. I told them, hey, a minimum I would work with. The minimum client I accept is 3 months. Other than that, like per session or like 2 sessions, I said, hey,
this is not gonna work. Yes,
it's not gonna work. I'm not gonna lie to you and get your money and say, hey, just come for 1 session. Unless this is discovery session, I just take them and do the free discovery call. But 1 session is nothing like. No quick fix.
Yes. Yeah, people think that we have that magic stick that, oh, come, I'll fix you.
Yeah. Nobody's broken, but the whole idea is just bringing awareness to the people and let them know about their pattern. Sometimes we're not aware of our pattern. Like I like the metaphor. One of my mentor teach me a metaphor. Imagine that like you see a bottle of water, like for example, this is not transparent, but imagine that you are inside this bottle. That's why you're inside the problem. If there's label outside, you can't read the label. Does that make sense?
Yes.
You're inside the glass water, you are inside the problems. Somebody outside your problem can see the label and can read it and can see your pattern while they're talking to you. But if you are inside the problems, you can't find the issue. And talking about programming, Mr. this is an interesting thing, and it's related to the topics, which is really people sometimes they become habitual to certain emotion that are negative emotions. For example, people are habitually, every day they will need to feel angry, and sometimes it's an unconscious, which is a problem. And they need that trigger in order to, like, their nervous system become programmed because they need that chemical. It's like somebody addicted to a coffee. They need that double cappuccino or double espresso to feel that, same thing. The nervous system need that chemical of anger in order for the person to see, hey, this is me, I feel my personality. So they have to find a trigger in order to feel that emotion that make them feel, oh, I am who I am, right? So, and that's the problems, because
they do look for that trigger.
They look like for that trigger.
Yeah, if they didn't find it, they will try to create.
They will try and create it, even for simple things. I'll give you an example, which is also more severe. And this is an example coming from the book that you're talking about, which is Joe Dispenza. For example, people can have, every one of us have an issue that comes to their life. For example, something upset us, right? I can remember myself 10 years ago, before being involved in these things, I could take 5, 6 a week, maybe getting upset. for something happen to me until I go to a balanced emotion. But the problem is that some people can talk about problems that happened to them 15 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, and it become an addiction. So this is between between the stimulus, that you have a stimulus, that something happened in your life, and the emotion that created it. Could be an anger, could be sadness, could be frustration. We call it, Joe Dispenza call it refractory period. How much you are taking, how much time do you take in order for you to go balance into a balanced emotion? And between that and that, between you are creating, that emotion, negative emotion in your body, and going back to the natural emotion, all these chemical cocktails are running into your body and doing all the damages that you're not aware of.
Wow. 15, 20 years is a very long period.
Yeah, for example, some people can have, I'll give you an example, some people can have a bad marriage, right? And then that marriage could be leading to a divorce, or could be leading to, I don't know, could be leading to some people stay in that relationship and remember certain memories from that abusive relationship. I'm using relationship because it's very easy that people remember. It takes a long time to people get rid of. So for example, people can be separated and they still remember all the bad memories that happened during that relationship, right? And they stay in that anger, frustration, or resentment. They don't want to let go of that emotion. Oh, when it was that with that guy or with that lady, she used to abuse me, or she used to treat me badly, or who used to abuse me or treat me badly, or leave me alone. Anyway, whatever happening, but they keep repeating that, stories about what was happening during that event. Not necessarily relationship, but I'm telling you, which is a more dangerous thing that people doesn't realize. Every time that you repeat this scenario, your nervous system or your mind doesn't recognize if this is happening now or this has happened 20 years ago. So it's basically like you're almost repeating the event over and over and over again and running the cocktail of chemicals in your body.
Putting the body in fight flight mode.
Exactly, fight flight mode. And then the problems that the body, instead, usually people can take maybe a couple of hours to go back into a natural, resting state. Their body is they come with something called fight or flight dominant. The fight or flight system become the dominant driver of the person. They're always on that mood, and sometimes they can't even sleep at night because they're always on.
What happens physically to human body when they enter fight and flight mode?
Okay, so for example, the first, which is a rush of adrenaline, which is, it's almost like, getting that a rush of energy. And sometimes it's good at the beginning, people feel like it, and they have that rush of energy. So you have your heart race faster, you have more blood going through extremities, your pupil dilate, you have more power to protect yourself. This is some of the benefit. On the other hand, your digestion slow down. Any repair in your system will slow down. It's not a time to repair. It's not a time to produce new cells. It's a time to fight. It's like a survival. So people, when they are in that system, there are certain chemicals that runs, which is cortisol, for example, and adrenaline. And cortisol, it's known to downgrade your immune system. So people can have a lower immunity system. They will have, they get sick very easily. They have a heart rate, so they can feel their heart want to get out of their chest. It's like palpitations. Their focus become very narrow. They can't, they don't have that, creative mind thinking. They only can have a narrow focus. They don't have that big focus. And worst case scenario, if this is stayed long term, it will impact the quality of the protein that the body processes. For example, the body will start to produce low quality protein. For example, you will have people have problem with their joints. People will have problems, pain in their bodies. They will have ulcers in their stomach because the digestion is not done properly. They'll have constipations. They'll not be able to, excrete foods. They're not going to be able to pass because the intestine is not moving fast. And on the long term, this could lead to chronic diseases like, God forbid, cancers or, high blood pressures. So there's so many things that can happen. And we see it in events. If I personally attended Joe Dispenza events, and people are talking about some of the things that happen to them because of these fight or flight response. Some of them have like skin rashes, like allergy for no reason. Some people can have, arthritis. Some people can have, one person lost their vision from one episode of being angry, and she starts screaming, and suddenly she had like a crack in her head, and then she couldn't see anything. So it's crazy what this system can do if it's being abused or overused. So,
and this is all happening because the trigger normally is an emotion, right?
Yeah.
So an emotion that I have felt maybe in the past, not necessarily now, I'm bringing it to life again.
Yeah.
Because I didn't let go.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
And long term, it's starting affecting my body, affecting my immune system, getting chronic diseases. So this is we're talking physically. It's pure science. It's been proven by science, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
What about energetically? Let's talk. I like to talk a little bit about energy, and
I like energy too. Go ahead.
What happens to the body energetically when I have this kind of emotions?
Okay, so basically, I'm sure you are aware of chakras, right? The chakras in the system, yes. They're energy centers.
Yep.
So the first three energy centers, which is 1 and 2 and 3, which is the one which is near the sacrum, near the base of your spine, and then the second one near your umbilicus, or your basically the the umbilicus, right? And the other one near the guts of your stomach. So
yeah,
these are the three centers. These three centers are we call survival centers. So the first three centers, these are the centers where the energy gets stuck in them. So we have some energy gets stuck in these centers that we call it survival's emotions. So in order for the person move the energy, which is the next center after the number 3 is the heart center. So the person will not be able to feel any emotion of love or connection with other, because the emotion he's feeling is anger, frustrations, resentment. He can't even open the heart. They don't have any, the heart, they feel the heart is closed.
They're blocking the chakra, basically.
They're blocking the chakra of the heart. So the first thing is that when the person releases this energy, they start to feel that their heart start opening up like a flower. And you can see it physically, or actually there's some devices that measure energy, which is you can measure your aura, and you start to see that the energy start moving to the heart. And then the next, if the person start moving the energy into the heart, after the heart, the energy can move into the chakra of the throats. So the person start to say nice words, start to express love, start to be able to, express themselves. This is the next center, which is the throat chakra.
The throat chakra, yeah.
And after that, you go up, which is the pineal glands. And pineal glands is basically, Joe called it the radio receiver. Basically, connect you with things around you, and you can start to connect with other energies, and you can connect with other human beings and start to get signals. You basically, you start to see more synchronicity in your life. I don't know if you know the term synchronicity.
Yeah.
So basically, whatever you think about, sometimes you talk about the topic, suddenly things shows up.
Yeah.
Have you ever been thinking about one person and suddenly that person buzzes you, right?
Yes. Yes.
This is like a synchronicity, right? So when the more your pineal gland is activated, you start to become your pineal gland become like a radio receiver. You'll be able to send signal on people or things being attracted to you. And then after that, which is, we call it the chakra number 7, or the energy center number 7, which is the gland, which is basically responsible for regulating all the hormones in your body. So you start to feel more in rhythm, and it's balanced all the hormone of the body. And then finally, there is a chakras or energy centers above your head, which is called number 8. And this is, you start to get downloads. You start to get downloads from the cosmos, and you start to get some information coming to you, like wisdom. Sometimes you have dreams that turn into reality. Have you ever been like daydreaming and then like it's become so real, like your dream becomes so vivid, like it's almost like real? This is what happens to people who have activated their pineal glands and activated their other chakras. So
it's actually, it's an actual information that you receive from people.
Yes.
Yes. Very interesting.
Yeah.
I noticed something else also. You reminded me with something else while talking about energy. For people who are having this kind of emotions, now the frequency of these emotions are very low frequencies. Therefore, what they attract in their life is very similar to what they feel. So if they have, for example, resentment, they have hatred, they have scarcity, this kind of emotions, they might have dreams, they might be working, they might be doing a lot of things, but they still have this kind of energies, and it's flowing a lot. They will still attract more scarcity, they will still attract more resentment. And you said it right. From the language, you can understand that, oh, he is living in these low frequency emotions. So this is what he's attracting.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's a nice graph by, there's an author, it's a nice book called by David Hawkins. I don't know if you read that. Hawkins, yeah. Right. It's The Level of Consciousness.
Yeah.
And he's talking about different emotion and how much energy they have. So imagine that gratitude, I think gratitude is like 600 or 700, something like that. Yes. And like depression or feeling
150 or
150 or very low, I think even not less than 100. So imagine you have a client there all the way there, and you are like a coach that doesn't know the level of consciousness, and he's asking the clients to look at, want to jump the client all the way to gratitude. It will be it's very hard for the client to jump that level.
Yes.
So you need to, if the person have a depression or have sadness, the first level is to tweak up the client and bring them up and give them more, because sadness is like, we call it negative energy, that emotion that sucks energy.
Yeah.
So you want to give them more like more energy emotion, like courageous, like bold, like determination. This is something like maybe it's like 200, 300. It's easy being reached for the clients than going to gratitude right away. Does that make sense?
Just one or two level up. It's much easier to go like taking him like 7 levels up.
Yeah, if person is a depression or like sadness or feeling like total frustration. Frustration is slightly high because it's a positive image. Let's say sadness. But it's very hard to tell the clients find something you're grateful for, because they're not finding something that they're grateful for.
Yes.
It's very hard to go there. So yes, each emotion have an energy, and exactly whatever energy. Sometimes even the people around you that you're attracting is the same level of energy. That's why you find people that are sad or depressed, they have friends that are depressed.
Yeah.
People that are happy and passionate, they attract people that are passionate. And sometimes when you grow up with your emotion, this is exactly what happened to me. I have to change a lot of my friends because a lot of people didn't accept me. They say, hey, you're crazy. Why are you laughing all the time? Why are you happy? Why are you passionate? It's not about positive thinking, but about changing your emotion, and people start to see you differently. And if they don't accept you, man, maybe it's time to change.
Yes.
I can make it as a friend, but they're not my first group circle of friends, because they will influence me and affect my emotion. I don't know if that makes sense, right?
Yes. Yes.
By the way, there is a study that have been shown that even people around you can impact something called epigenetics. People around you affect your immune system and affect the protein that being expressed in your body. If
yes,
you are,
it makes a lot of sense, because I mean, if I'm spending a lot of time with them, and when I'm around them, they bring my energy down. So definitely whatever time I'm spending with them, I'm spending in that low energy. So over time, what happens that I start embracing that low energy and feel that this is the normal energy. This is where I'm supposed to be. And the higher energies are something very, very difficult for me.
Absolutely. That's why some people, it's very hard for them to see you, because as I told you, when you are in fight-flight mode, or in that anger emotion, you don't see the whole picture. Have you ever been angry sometime? We all be angry sometime for some time, and you look at some things or reading something, and then you didn't see it well, and then you relaxed, and you slipped over it, and come next day, oh my God, how come I didn't see that yesterday, right?
Yes.
Because you're using different part of your brain. When you are in survival, you see only part of the story. You can't have a holistic picture. Your mind is limited. That's why people who are living on this survival emotion, sometimes very hard to see the big picture in their life. And sometimes it's very hard to make them connect the puzzle. So the first step is changing their emotion and help them to change their emotion. And which is scary thing, Masoud, which is very interesting and very scary as we talk about programs. Sometimes people doesn't want to let go of this personality of negative emotion because it's serving them in some way. Let me give you an example. If I'm being like an angry bastard person that go to my job and scream at everybody, and people respond to me and give me whatever I want, right? Why do I want to change? People are responding to me, right?
Yes.
That if I go like the nice guy that talk to people nicely and, oh, please do that to me, and people doesn't respond to me, right? So people find it harder to change because that emotion is serving them. I'll give you an example which is even more scarier. This is I'm sure you know about theta healing, right? You know Rafia, right?
Yes.
And she told me about theta healing. I took theta healing course, and the instructor that gave us theta healing, I took theta healing in Dubai, while telling us a story about a cancer patient. This is a cancer patient that have a breast cancer. She's a lady, and she's telling us the story about this breast cancer lady. She told her, can you remember, when did you have a breast cancer? When were you well before, just before you had the breast cancer? She said, yes, I remember very well. That's before I discovered that my husband was cheating on me. Then I had the breast cancer. She said, oh, interesting. Okay. And then what happened after that? She said, after I had my breast cancer, my husband started treating me very well and started to be very nice to me. So she said, she told her, oh, do you ever want to get rid of the breast cancer? Said, no, if you can just stop it, it's fine. But I'm afraid if the breast cancer gone, that my husband will leave me.
Oh. Oh.
So do you see? So she attracted the breast cancer in order for her to change the relationship with her husband. And now she don't want to let go of the breast cancer because the breast cancer is serving her to keep the relationship with the husband.
Wow.
So you see how much the unconscious mind, sometimes we use this emotion in order for protections, in order to serve us in a certain way. And sometimes we don't know what's happening. And sometimes people doesn't want to change because they know that this personality is serving them.
Mm-hmm. You know, you mentioned something that triggered another kind of information. It's a little bit off topic, but it's really interesting to see people ask for, we are Muslims, we believe in Allah. So we ask things from Allah, but we don't ask specifically.
Yes.
And a lot of times we get it, but not in the way that we want it. Because we didn't ask specifically how do you want it. We want to have, just an example. I want to have, I'm giving an example of the lady you mentioned. Oh God, I want a good relationship with my husband. Oh, here you go. You have a good relationship with your husband now, but you got cancer. So we attracted the right thing to our life in a wrong way.
Absolutely.
And that's why I've heard it in one of the courses that I attended. The lady was saying, "You guys, you don't know how to pray. ولا تعرفون كيف تدعون. You don't even know how to connect with your God."
Absolutely.
And this is, for me, it's very dangerous. What is it that you want? Be very specific.
Exactly.
Some people want things, but they're not clear exactly what they want. So the universe, Allah, whatever you want to call it, whatever you believe in, brings it to you in their own way.
Exactly. That's why you do vision board. That's your envisioning. You start to put goal planning. You know, there is actually study that's shown that people write their goals, you know, and over 70% of that things that they wrote manifested in their life. Yeah. And regarding dua, which is something remind me of a very interesting story, or actually this is from a Quran. You know, when Yusuf have, you know, the surah of Yusuf, when Yusuf have problem with the lady, they're trying to abuse him. He said, "As-sijnu ahabbu mimma yad'unani ilayh." Right? Being in prison is better than being abused by these guys. And then God put him in prison because that's what he asked for, right? Yes. Did it make sense?
Yes. Because he could have asked for anything else.
He could ask for somebody else, but he said, "As-sijnu ahabbu min yad'unani," and then suddenly he'd been in prison. Yeah. Right. So be careful what you said, because sometimes whatever you ask for become reality, because sometimes people start, you know, go crazy about their life and start saying bad things, and these bad things could become a reality because whatever they're saying. Like, as I told you, the story of the Kuwaiti clients that, hey, I'm a bad lucker. Everything that happened to me, it doesn't manifest, or everything, the business doesn't complete. So whatever you said become reality. So.
Yes. So doctor, now we're running out of time. So before we finish, I just want to look at what is it that we can do to turn this around. For example, I'm a person who's living in this bad state. Nothing goes well in my life. I'm full of this negative emotions, and I really feel it's affecting my body. Where should I start?
Okay, so the first thing is basically, the first step of change is being aware. Aware that you have an issue. that you have a negative emotion, because the problem that's, if you're not aware of it, it doesn't exist. First of all, is recognize that, hey, everybody we call it have a home emotion. Everybody go to a certain emotion. Some people go to anger. Some people go to sadness. Some people go to loneliness. Everybody have an emotion that dominate their life.
Yeah.
They have to recognize that emotion, and first recognize what is it, and then find the triggers. What's the reason why? What's triggering them? And there is a different approach that you can start doing in order for you to change emotions. All right. You can, meditation is one way. Meditation by slowing your brain waves, because when we are frustrated, when angry, our brain wave is going so fast.
Yeah.
So we can start meditating. When we meditate, we slow down the brain waves and slow down that emotions. When you start to recognize the emotion and start to slow them down, start to ask yourself, what do you want to replace this emotion with? You want to replace it with something else. Maybe you want to replace it with, let's say that if somebody is sad, we don't want to jump to gratitude. Maybe they want to go to determinations, or being like faith. Faith is a nice emotion to have.
Yes. Yes.
Like, okay, for example, if somebody like depressed, you can turn it to faith. Like, instead of saying everything is against me, you can say, okay, they start to condition themselves that everything will turn out very well. I believe that that God will love me. Instead, I believe that God is punishing me. You start to have these phrases. We call it affirmations, and the more you're repeating them, the more you're programming them. So you start to condition yourself with certain emotions, right? And there's different way that you can change your emotions. There's also breathing technique. There's a lot of breathing that they do in yoga. YouTube, there's a bunch of breathing exercise that change your emotions. You can do some breathing exercise. As I said, you can do some very interesting things that if you have the resources to do it. Something called neurofeedback. Neurofeedback is basically, you go to centers and they help you to recognize what are the emotions that have. They connect all these electrodes in your head, and they will tell you what are the hidden emotion in the body. And then you sit with a consultant, and they will start to give you some information about what's the memories that you have, stamp these emotions, and how to let go of them. But the easiest thing is start with breathing, start with the affirmations, and have like a lookbook, finding the emotions and what the triggers, and then start from there, and then hire a coach that can help you.
Exactly. A lot of people, they fail to recognize that they need help.
Yeah.
And this is very important. If you need help, ask for help.
Yes.
Another factor, I'll just add to what you said, Doctor. People are looking for quick fixes.
Yeah.
They're forgetting that they have built whatever they have built for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, at least. It got accumulated in their body. And to change that, it also requires time. It's not going to change in one day.
Absolutely.
So if you need help, these are my tips. If you need help, ask for help in the beginning, and then take your time. Don't rush the results. The results will be coming slowly. Slowly. You are training. It's like, I always give example of the gym. My favorite example. If you want to build a nice body, it depends how bad are you out of shape.
Yes.
Right? If you are extremely obese, you cannot have 6 packs in 3 months.
Absolutely.
Unless you go in naturally.
Surgery. And do like a fake 6-pack.
Exactly. So you need time, you need consistency,
Yes.
all right, and you need commitment.
Absolutely.
Slowly and gradually, you will start seeing results.
Absolutely. I like that.
Being here with
Yeah,
us.
one thing before you close up, which
Yes,
is very
please.
interesting.
Yes.
And this is regarding whatever we talked about before, regarding the energy and emotions, right? Which is a proof to you. Have you ever went to a place and there is certain people sitting, and you just going to the place, you can feel the energy of the place.
Yes.
If this is going to be people that you want to sit with them, without even talking to them, you can feel the energy of people, right?
Yes.
And sometimes you go to a place that you said, oh, I don't want to stay here, I just want to leave, right?
Yeah.
And some places you go and see like two, even one person. Sometimes you go maybe to a place you want to give documents, or like, government, places like passports or whatever, and you go, you can see people that without speaking to them, you feel the energy of the office of the person that can assign your paper.
Yes.
You said, oh, it's gonna go fine. Oh, this is not gonna go well, right?
Exactly. Yes. 100%.
So this is a proof of the energy, that emotion have energy. So yeah.
Yes. It's a reflection of their energy.
Yes.
Right? Or their emotions, maybe.
Their emotions, right? And that's the, if their emotion, home emotion is anger, or her home emotion is frustration, and sometimes you don't see it. That's why it's a stuck emotion. You're not gonna feel it, and they speak or they treat you, right? But because that emotion is in their body, it's being programmed, it's running around their body, it's creating like a field. And according to Joe Dispenza, they said the field can be up to 5 meters long.
Wow.
Yes, 5 meters around the person. So imagine that people walking around 5 meters, you can feel their energy and feel their emotions. So, but you have to be very sensitive in order to feel that. If you are in a very low energy emotions, it's very hard to feel it. You have to be slightly conscious, in that big level. And some people who are very high, like monks, or people are doing this, like people are meditating a lot, they can even feel the energy of animals, like cats, like birds, like dogs, whatever. And it's sometimes scary, to feel all these things around you.
Very interesting.
Hello everyone. Can I have can I ask for a question to Dr. Hassan? This is Tariq Al Sagaf. How are you, Doctor?
Alhamdulillah. How are you, Tariq?
I'm great, alhamdulillah. So how can I protect myself then if I have a negative emotion in the environment? For example, as your example, a good example, you said that if you went to a place and you feel that there is something wrong, there is a negative energy in the place. So how the person can protect himself or herself, himself from that negative emotion?
Well, protection is basically the more you are in a higher level energy, the more you're on this level of energy that we talk about, like gratitude, like connection, like love, the more this low energy emotion doesn't affect you, because it's a lower energy emotion. But you are if a lower denominator emotion, they will impact you very easily. But if you're in that level, like I give you an example. Like we go to an event like Tony Robbins and Joe Dispenza, they are in that level, very high, right? And they get negative people, they get people sick with diseases, with so much, problem in their life. And then they're not being affected by these 2,000 or 3,000 people, because they are in that level, right? They do their ritual, they do meditations, they are aware of the energy, because our energy can drop. As soon as you feel your energy is dropping, you have to be careful and bring it up, because it's become like a spiral roller coaster. Okay. If you don't take it up, it will fall down so fast. It's like a gas tank. You have to keep filling it up, because like, for example, 1 or 2 days you don't do your meditation or your ritual, you can jump so fast down, and it takes you more effort to bring it up. I don't know if that makes sense, Tariq.
Yes, making sense. Yes, thank you so much.
I can put it in another way.
Sure.
Awareness is always the key. So if you are aware of it, because you keep feeling it, like what doctor said, when you get there, you will protect yourself automatically, because you are aware of your state and you are aware that I'm going there, my emotions are going down, and you can choose. Am I ready to accept this environment and let them affect me or not? You have the choice, and choice is the biggest gift that we ever had. If you are aware of it, you can choose. If you're not aware of it, then it will affect you automatically.
Clear. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Any more questions, or should we call it a night?
I think no more questions.
All right.
No more questions. No one is asking. Great, doctor.
So it's a pleasure.
Same here. Thank you so much for coming here.
Thank you so much. SubhanAllah, the time passed so fast, you know?
Yes, I didn't feel the time. I was like, we only have 5 minutes. We didn't talk about solutions yet. Inshallah, we will we'll have more sessions in future. My goal is always to create a space for people to come and speak freely, and for people to come in and just get as much information as they can.
Sure.
And I hope we could change 1%, and every person who attended today. That for me, it's a huge achievement.
Change start with the mindset. Change start with one and the idea, just one concept. You could change life. So I'm so happy to be part of this. So
thank you so much, and thank you for everyone who attended. Have a lovely night.
take care and
Take care. See you.
take care. Thank you so much.